Hello. Hello.
It's working.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. I am Meghraj, first year MTech student of Sitara department. Basically, I am the first year student, so I in my last semester faced lots of problem regarding the academics and all. As already you know, I am the PG student. So I thought of the contesting for the post just because of to represent the issues of all, not all the first years, but all PG students. What you all know that we PG students are considered as inferior to that of the UG students. For that purpose, I thought to be stand for this post. During my this post, one more point, one more benefit for this post in my graduation level. I already have experience of working in a team and working as a representative. As I have worked for the design and planning section here in my college team, college cultural team. In my manifesto, I have mentioned fresh initiatives. There are 4 major initiatives. One of them is about the centralized biometric attendance. What happens many of the time you are busy in the attending the lectures in lecture hall complex, or you are busy in studying or doing experiment in laboratory. For the sake of attendance, you have to go to your department. For that purpose, I am proposing one system such that you can put your attendance anywhere inside in the academic zone, and that will be considered. The second point in my manifesto is that all-night canteens proposal. Most of PG students are there in academic zone. They stay there up to 4 to 5 o'clock in the night, and if they are hungry, they have to come to either Sunrise Abba or hostel number 8, that Blueberries. For that sake, there is a proposal to make only all-night canteen available in that zone. That will be coordinated with JSHA, and this is proposal. This is the proposal. The third parameter and third initiative is about making the Android app. As per I know, there is already Android app, but it's not fully developed, and that's why my proposal is to make development in that app and make available for PG and all students of the IITB, so that everyone will get touch with that app and everyone will be get touch with curricular and extracurricular activities. And the last point is about the resume building workshop. Actually, this is happening already in the summer, but my proposal is to put that resume building workshop in the first semester itself, so that people get time to do some activities so that they can add to their resume. And apart from these are the only you find these are only few points, and most of the point it's not the rigid manifesto. I will add on during my tenure whatever point I got. Apart from this, I believe in last previous council members and council team, which is already working efficiently, and there are lots of information available on PGPC, but people are not aware about the PGPC portal and all events and all things about that. For that purpose, I will just reinforce about the last activities and all things.
Good evening, friends. I am Naveen Gurapu, standing for the post of General Secretary Academic Affairs PG. Currently, I am a second year PhD student in Electrical Engineering, IIT Bombay. During my tenure, if I get elected, the primary aim during my tenure firstly could be to enhance and reinforce the coordination between the PG students throughout the year, while also pushing for active participation of PG students in IIT Bombay community. Secondly, widening and robusting of the PG research as well as promotion through Researchers Handbook Research Media Cell, so as to accelerate IIT Bombay as a finest research institute. My pivotal initiatives are to increase in financial grant support for participating in international conferences. Second, creation of centralized digital repository of the IIT Bombay community. Third would be the introduction of photocopy service center at individual departments. Fourth would be the creation of PG research work. Fifth would be creation of this grievance portal at individual departments. Apart of that, I am currently holding the post of PORs. First is being the events manager at the Research Scholar Forum, IIT Bombay, and also organizer technical team research conference Confluence ResCon 15 IIT Bombay.
Hello everyone, I am Rinki Chopra, standing for the post of General Secretary Academic Affairs PG. Currently I am pursuing PhD from Electrical Engineering Department. I believe that there is a scope of improvement in research and academic structure of IIT Bombay. And to make any changes in existing curriculum, you have to take up the strong responsibility. So I decided to take up the responsibility of GSAA PG. And I want to maximize the research potential of all the PG students by increasing the research scope with more industry participation. Also, my aim would be to enhance the interaction between PG community and PG Academic Council and PG Janata by organizing events, initiating portals, and conducting open house sessions, and by keeping the PG Academic Council active throughout the year. I would also work for the progress of PG community. Beside this, I also believe in taking forth the decision made by previous council and make sure that they will be executed. They will be implemented effectively. Being a part of such type of activity, I want to utilize my skills maximally. Now let me start with some of major points of my manifesto. I would be offering a 24x snack vending machine to facilitate students in late night working area. I would also propose to increase flexibility in qualifier rules implementation wherever it will be possible. Beside this, I'll also create online repository which will contain department-wise students' details, their supervisors' details, and all the research activity whichever is going on through a supervisor in a particular department. So that and there will be a search engine, and through which the students can, with the help of keywords, students can search a particular number of particular students and the supervisors in which they are interested. So it will act as a bridge between the students and the supervisor as well as. I'll also establish a feature-rich portal which will contain pre-loaded information of all the courses, like course description, teaching trend, online study material, and courses from other universities. If I'll come to career counseling part, we will be conducting some professional classes for spoken English, along with technical writing, presentation classes, along with ongoing classes which is conducted by placement cell, like GD and interview skills, resume writing, SOP writing, etc. I'll also launch a placement help book which will contain core companies written test details, like interview questions, GD topics, etc., which will be beneficial for students regarding placement related things. I'll also arrange video conferencing with alumni for the guidance on the higher studies, and I'll also arrange some informative sessions with alumni so that the students will get an idea so that they can accordingly decide whether they want to join a core or non-core company, or whether they want to start some startup sort of thing. I'll also push to increase the number of companies providing internship for PG students. Beside this, I'll also try to collab. As we know, IRSCP, ISCP, and RSF, these three bodies are basically made to serve PG students, and sometimes it happens because of their individual actions, many times repetition of events occurs, and obviously in that case there will be a change in quality of the content. So I will be collaborating with all the bodies, and we will work together. With this, one advantage will be this: we will be providing a best quality to all the students, and will also avoid repetition. Beside this, I'll also make a website academic calendar which will contain all seminars, talks, registration, scholarships, and the deadline will be explicitly mentioned over there. so that with the help of selective subscription facility, the student can get the student can receive their updates through the mails. Thank you.
So we'll move on to part 2, which is manifesto debate. So firstly, we'll be having questions from Meghraj to Naveen. The questions cannot continue for more than 8 minutes, and any question cannot be debated for more than 5 minutes.
So my question is to Naveen is, you have mentioned that to introduce a structure fund allotment mechanism for departmental workshop, seminars and activity. That is your second point in your manifesto. Can you please elaborate this? What is exactly and how you are sure about this? Second point.
See, there are within the PG Academic Council, within the events domain, you need to conduct workshops, seminars. Like if you want to take any conduction of some software from the faculty, or you need to enrich the kind of research that goes on, say in nano fabrication or anything, you need the faculties to come up there and actually deliver it. But point is that you just can't ask them and give them. Also during that process you need to give some mementos to the faculties, and also you need to do like offline campaigning also for this. So that is when you need to have the structured funding. Currently what is happening is, if you get that workshop or any seminar get done, but you need to have that slips, and you need to go around this academic session, you need to go to this finance session, then you need to have the approval of HOD, then you need to go to Dean of Student Affairs. So it's a very cumbersome process after that. So I'll make sure that if you have the structured funding, it can directly be deducted from that, and the process will follow it up.
What exactly you mean offline camp? You mentioned.
Yeah, offline campaigning. See, there are many ways of campaigning. One is the online campaigning, one is the offline campaigning. Offline campaigning, where you need to put up posters or flyers, or you need to put up flexis. So that is when these funds have to be required to support it.
Yeah, but actually it is already there in our academic council. These workshops are not randomly occurring there. That's why already there is already structured funding and all is there. Still you want to
I don't think there is no structured funding within the PG Academic Council, first thing.
It's there already. That's why it's working already.
Well, what do you mean by structured funding within PG Academic Council?
Yeah, he means we people, IRCP and all conduct the seminars and workshops and all things.
So basically the current funding structure is like, whenever you propose an event, you take the budget approval from Dean AP, and then you get the budget allotted.
So that is the point. Like annually you don't have anything. For each event you need to get it done. And currently you don't even have this calendar with like which month you need to get something has to be done.
But there is a tentative calendar, and all people know who are there in academic council in which month what will happen.
See, there are many events which got cancelled.
The next question to you is about the increase in funding for the conference. You mentioned that point in your manifesto also.
Yes, it's the first point.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I'll elaborate on that. Currently the master students don't get any financial grant support for participating in international conferences, while the PhDs get a maximum limit of 1 lakh. But point is like, if you go to any US, Canada or any European agents like say France or Germany, the to and fro journey itself will take you around 90,000, and while the paper acceptance around 15 to 20,000. So there's no scope for any fooding, lodging or accommodation. And moreover, there's a limit on per day spending like $30 or 20 euros, while the dinner or the lunch itself will overshoot that number. Now how I am going to do it is, like there are two ways of doing it. One is currently like what the alumni fund you get it is handled by this concerned SARC or this ACR. So what I would be proposing is like the alumni fund, they don't have any restriction on like what amount has to go to the hostel infrastructure or any sections. So what I would be proposing is, like, I will make sure there's like 2 to 3% of that goes into this PG students participating in the international conferences. Second point is, like, you have this departmental development fund, wherein the institute gives that amount to this department. So the departments can actually prescribe, like, they need 5 to 6% of that fund for the students participating in international conferences. Yeah, these are the two ways how I would go about.
So you mentioned about the first way, that is 2%. From where you are taking this 2%?
See, that's a very tentative number because alumni fund ranges between 200 to 300 crores annually, approximately. So like 2 to 3% or anywhere less than 5%, like it would be around like 5 to 10 crores. I think that would be more than sufficient for the PG students.
But you might be aware about that last 2 years before, already there is a 20% increase in this conference funding.
Yes.
Still you want to increase, or you want to take the fund from some other department which they want to propose a workshop or anything they are propose.
From some other department?
Yeah, I mean some other departments, that fund reserved for some other works. You are taking about the two ways. That first one you tell about.
Yeah, first one is the alumni fund. Second one?
Yes, and second one you told.
That's the departmental development fund. Like what the department does with that fund.
But that is already available for conference also. Then why do you need to increase it?
See, the departmental development fund is being handled by the HOD, and when you're talking about the students, it is especially from the projects that goes on, and there's no departmental specific fund as of now.
But you can get the reimbursement of full whatever you have purchased.
See, currently the basis on what I'm saying is whatever amount that exceeds 1 lakh, that is what I'm trying to compensate, not the whole 1.4, 1.2. That is not my intention. The incremental is something I'm concentrating on. And moreover, the institute funds for the PhD students once in 3 years.
And one more point that you must be aware about the last 2-3 days before we got one mail about the funding about the conference itself. Have you gone through?
Which conference?
Any conference.
Okay.
We got the mail that they will reimburse visa fee and all things, and about the half of the traveling fees.
For MTech or PhDs?
Both.
Okay, I'm not aware of that.
That is also available. They were still you want to push for this.
It has been past 2 or 3 days. This manifesto is prepared almost 10 days.
But I am asking about the awareness. You aware about this mail or not?
No, I'm not aware of it.
Another question for you is, you mentioned that master's project more industry oriented through IRCC.
Yes.
What exactly you mean? Can you?
Yeah, see, currently any project that is coming to the faculty from the industry is channeled through IRCC. I hope you know IRCC. Yeah. Industrial Research Consultancy Center. See, what happens is any project the faculty takes, he generally gives a preference to the project staffs, not the master's students. So in the process, what is happening is most of the master's projects that taking up, it's not industry oriented. So that's affecting the placements also.
But that are research oriented and guides preferences there. And
No.
guides interest oriented.
See, you can always fix a limit of how many project staffs you need to take for a faculty. So when you fix at that number, like the remaining amount has to be done by the masters or the PhD students. So that is when we could make the master's projects more research oriented or industry oriented.
Okay, this is the only point you have about the masters in your manifesto.
Yeah, because
I found this is the only one.
no, see, if you're talking about master students within their projects, yes, for the projects this is the only way. But if you take any other like policy making or infrastructure related issues, that covers almost all the PG community.
Time is up for questions from Meghraj to Naveen. So now questions will be from Meghraj to Rinki.
Rinki, you have mentioned in your key initiatives that they conduct a mega annual event for PG to showcase their intellectual property. Which type of this mega annual event can you
Yeah, in this event we will be calling some industry experts And in this events, as we are aware कि हाँ for PG students, for basically for MTech students, there are no very much type of मतलब funding type of facility is available. Like if somebody wants to execute particular ideas, somebody is very good in innovative ideas, like somebody is good in robotics suppose, and he don't have that much money so that he can execute this idea. So through this event, we will call industry experts, and the students will show their innovative ideas through this event. And in this event, the industry through this event, the industry experts will provide fund to the students so that students can execute their ideas. So it will be like these type of activities were there in already UG type of activities. So this type of thing was not there in PG body. So the thing is like somewhat I can say कि in the staffs these types of things are going on. So with the collaboration of staff, we will be conducting this type of event for PGs.
Then have you thought about how it will be conducted out?
Yeah, actually, I have already communicated regarding this thing. I have already communicated to 2-3 companies regarding this thing, and they are interested in this. They are willingly interested in for this to participate in such type of event, because they want the IITs students innovative ideas to be used for their companies, because these ideas will be beneficial for them too. So I have already communicated regarding this thing to 2-3 companies. Till now.
Another point you have mentioned that IIT Bombay PG Q&A online portal. It's like a Quora. Do you think it is needed, and do you think people will give support or response to this?
Yeah, actually I think during my ground survey I came to know कि हाँ many of the people are not aware about the many of the extracurricular activities and many of the academic activities also. So I thought कि हाँ through these type of portal we will be solving the doubts of all the students, and obviously we
It's
will
related to academics or the events or anything?
all academics as well as extracurriculars and both.
So you want to prepare one extra portal?
Yeah, this will be collaborative. This will be integrated with the PG council also.
Do you have any idea about that? This point is maybe have a proposal of execution already there?
Yeah, I came to know that this type of proposal that this has been launched in just some time back, but I think this is not. This is just recently updated. So probably this is I should say कि हाँ people are not much more aware about this particular portal. So we will be conducting, and we will do proper publicity so that the students will be aware that this type of portal is already existing, and students can ask their questions so that they will be getting their reply and all the doubts.
The last question to you is you have mentioned about the mock registration.
Yeah.
Already they are extending the date of registration, and they are giving 4 to 5 days to register. And regarding the main issue is about the elective selection in the registration process. You might be aware about this.
Okay. Yeah.
So still you want to do any other mock registration process and then refinishing about this?
See, basically the purpose of this registration was like there are some it usually happens कि there are some popular courses, and it generally happens कि the clashing of the timing of popular courses generally occurs. So we will be conducting this dummy registration to avoid those type of things, and we will up to certain extent we can compensate this type of problem, so that there will be hassle-free timetable. I can't say that we can completely remove this problem, but up to certain extent this can be done.
But actually already there are 5 days and 15 days to drop adjustments also there. So you can get the idea of that which courses are clashing, and you could manage to talking to your faculties and people.
Actually, the thing is, after the floating of all the timetable, this can't be changed. The timetable can't be changed. So the thing is, we will be conducting dummy registration before the registration, around we can say before some time, so that we will be having idea कि हाँ we will be having some statics so that the students want to opt to for this particular subject and this particular subject, so that we will avoid the clashing of those particular subjects, those type of particular subjects. So this is basically to remove the hassle-free, to provide hassle-free timetable. The basic purpose is this.
Yeah, basic purpose I know, but actually in the all sense or all your proposals, you are just trying to make more flexible the policies of academics. Don't you think like this?
I don't think
There
in
should
this
be
way
some strict rules or some, so that people will.
I don't think through this point we will be providing any such type of flexibility, because through our council we will be creating such type of dummy registration, and we will be conducting for the beneficial of students, and we will be having in advance we will be having idea कि हाँ this type of course students are more interested in these type of course, so we will accordingly convey those messages in the administrative people, so that accordingly this type of timetable can be set. Because after that, after floating those timetables, this can't be changed. So
But still, there are lots of people are registering for minimum 20 to 30 people will register, and they have different time slots about the timetable. Again, you need to send the mail to all people or get feedback from all people that this slot is feasible or not feasible while changing the slot. I'm taking it. Just because of one person, we can't change the slot.
Yeah, obviously. So I said na, for the popular courses we will be doing this, because at all, if I'll say कि हाँ this will be removed, this type of clashing will be removed completely, so that I'm not saying कि हाँ I'll be assuring कि हाँ there will be no hassle, there will be no clashing of time. But we will be trying to remove up to such extent for basically for popular courses.
Okay, so moving on. Now Naveen can ask questions to Meghraj, but Naveen has said कि he is not going to ask any question to Meghraj. It is his choice, he skipped it. Now Naveen will be asking questions to Rinki.
Yeah, Rinki, how do you propose to increase flexibility of this qualifier rules implementation?
Okay, basically here the flexibility doesn't mean the flexibility in terms of standard. Here will be I'll just take an example. Suppose actually maybe you will be aware where in CRNTS department there are some in that department there are some rigid rules, like they don't have that type of very much flexibility about, regarding the subjects. They have to opt to compulsory subjects, and the people in that department are from different background. So we will be suggesting कि we will be providing this type of suggestion कि हाँ there should be the flexibility in terms of choices, because in that department, suppose the person are from biology department and from mathematical department, and for biology department mathematics and statics will be the compulsory course, and a compulsory subject for qualifiers, and for the mathematics biology will be the compulsory qualifier. These type of things are there. So we will be proposing कि हाँ there should be a number of lists, as in our department there are a number of lists, like if we'll take our example of our department, there are 2 lists for the subjects, and we have around 6 to 7 options in a list A, and the 6 to 7 options in list B.
Yeah,
so we are having such type of options.
Yeah,
so I'm just
I hate to
proposing
interrupt you,
Yeah.
but could you say like how many academic units are there in IIT Bombay?
Yeah. In terms of department, I can say कि हाँ 15 units, 15 departments are there, 11 centers are there, 4 interdisciplinary groups are there, and one school.
How many academic units doesn't have a qualifier?
I don't have the exact counting, but the thing is like.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
What is the qualifier rule for this HSS? Like, what is the process? Humanities?
As far as I know, in HSS there is no qualifier.
I contradict you on that. It is a qualifier. Second thing, what is the qualifier procedure for IOR?
IOR.
IOR.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Never mind. And the point I am trying to stress on this is every department, because of its autonomy and because of its way it conducts its courses, it has a rule to implement or no. And they have their own way of implementing it because of their autonomy. So I don't think like anything much can be done on this increasing flexibility of qualifier rules. Moreover, recently in the mechanical engineering they have started it recently for this batch. So it's very department specific and institute can in no way have a say in that.
Okay, actually the thing is like I'm not saying कि हाँ we will be imposing some sort of rule. The thing is like in that in some of the departments the proportion of the students who are facing problem is comparatively very much high. So we will be counting the number of the proportion like I have already said the example of CR&DS department. In that department you can say like the proportion is like around out of 50 students only 2 students till now only 2 or 3 students have qualified the qualifier in that department. So the proportion of the non-qualified students is very high in that department. So we will be providing कि हाँ.
I hate to interrupt you, but could you say me the attrition rate of other departments? मतलब जो लोग qualify नहीं होते और they have to move out of IIT Bombay.
The proportion like as far as I know this much of extent is not
Forget about CR&DS, say about other academies.
like in our department as far as I know only around I'll come to know around like 2 or 3 max 2 or 3 people come get out will be out because of this thing. In the first round around 50% of the public get passed in the first round, and in second round rest of the 75%. In the third round also there will like rest of most of them are, and after that if they won't qualify this round after third round, then there is a provision कि हाँ with the what should I say with the consultancy of
See, the point is like in the process of actually you are increasing flexibility, you are actually creating qualifier rules in some departments which doesn't have.
I am not creating exactly the qualifier rules. I am just saying कि हाँ they should, because the thing is
Because
like
the point I'll say, when there are if you take any some department which doesn't have a qualifier, they would say that we are not they would be saying that we don't have. So other department is saying we have. So there's a contradiction of this. You, in the process of actually bringing uniformity, you are actually degrading the heterogeneous community of the departments.
I'm not taking like the thing is like this is not for uniformity like related thing. This is the thing is like in whichever department these type of rules have, there should be like if their rules are very rigid, then and the proportion of the proportion of the students whoever is qualifying or non-qualifying, now the qualifying students is very less, the proportion of the statics is very statics of the non-qualified students is very high in that case. So that for those things I'm not saying that department should change their standard. I'm saying that they should be provide some options for the students because they are from different backgrounds.
Yes, sure. I'll move on to next question. Like, could you say me what are the guidelines to have a MOU with other universities? Because you mentioned a point, push for MOU with more universities for exchange programs.
The guidelines.
If there were no guidelines, then how would they implement it?
The thing is, as far as I know, for this thing we have to communicate with the department, and the thing and through our institute we have to sign up to the MOU with a memorandum of understanding with the universities in whichever we all want to. The thing is this type of.
See, there is a construction. There is a constraint on what kind of MOUs you want with the universities. Do you know, like apart of IIT Bombay, there's other university which has an MOU? It's an US National University of Singapore.
Yeah. I know.
The point is, what I'm trying to stress is, this is very department specific, first thing.
Okay.
And secondly, when it comes to universities, they prefer to have MOUs, but they prefer to have it in the form of exchange of infrastructure rather than the exchange of students.
The thing is, as far as I know, these type of the program through exchange program, that the students through the exchange program already went in the. I have already seen the statics. They were there, but like the thing is like in terms of exchange of program, in the previous sessions, the students went there like in as you said in National University of Singapore in 2013-14. The students of MTech went there, but the proportion is very less. So this is not that they don't prefer to the exchange students for the program. They don't prefer.
See, my only question is pushing for MOUs just for the sake of student exchange is something that is not acceptable by any institute.
The thing is,
Because it's not just the information exchange, it's the information infrastructure and also the knowledge generation has to be. See, if I develop a patent from IIT Bombay, if I'm collaborating with NUS, the patent will be from both the universities. So any money that comes out of it has to be shared, which is generally not accepted by universities. Okay,
I
fine.
think in a different way. I think if students will go in the other university, like in foreign university, they will get they will be familiar with they will be familiar with the environment whichever is going through for the research in the other university, and they'll get the exposure from those universities so that they can accordingly implement the ideas from they can utilize the facilities over there, and they can effectively execute their ideas for the research.
So time is up. So now Rinki can ask questions to Meghraj.
Meghraj, my first question to you is, as you have mentioned, why do you want to make journals available online through department, even though these are already available online? Just want to, as you have mentioned in your manifesto, yeah. So as we know, there are already subscriptions.
Soft copies of the
Yeah.
It's not about the journals, it's thesis and journals. That means
Yeah.
whatever.
And for the thesis thing, again, I just want to say that this is already available in Central Library. Thesis are all the e-copies
These
are
are already available offline.
in online
books
mode.
are-
All the e-copies are available in Central Library.
Thesis of our all departments.
Yeah. We have
not
to,
there.
at the
I
time of
don't
submission
find.
of thesis, we have to submit the e-copy of the thesis.
We have to submit, but that database is not available to access.
We can get the
One more point, that there is and if you go to IRCC or in our PGPC portal, there is also availability of journals. There are approximately 10,000 journals are available soft copy, but it's related to thesis, which projects we are carrying forward in future scopes like that. Previously already there in every department there are PhD students and they submitted their thesis. And every work has some future scopes, and most of our departmental lectures are interested in that subject. Most of their interest is regarding the any particular subject you consider. They have wide space. Each lecture has our lecture has lots of projects, but in that most of the projects are covered by PhD or MTech students. In that, to continue work, they need soft copies also. It will be better to handle soft copies rather than the thesis.
Okay. My next question is to you is, as you have mentioned in your manifesto, you will be providing a facility of Android development set.
Yes.
So how will you provide this type of facility? What is your strategy regarding this?
Exactly. You might be aware about the already there is a IITB app. I don't know you are aware about that or not, but it's not fully constructed.
Okay.
You have you used the M indicator? Just like M indicator, it's an app to
No,
indicate
I haven't used
Mumbai's all information.
I
You
know
can-
this type of application is there, but I haven't used.
Exactly. What is there inside M indicator is there are sorted facilities there. It means if you want transport, if you want buses, if you want such like that, same model in our IITB. If we propose an Android app covering all the events, academic calendar, event calendar, conferences and all things. If these are the sorted ones, those who are interested in conference only, those who are interested in seminars, those who are interested in workshop, they can subscribe to that events only and they can get the exact that information, not like 20-30 minutes we are getting in daily. For that purpose, this is a program. And this Android app is already there, but it's not fully constructed. It's just constructed and will be launched. And it will be helpful not only for PG students, not only for PhD, MTechs, but it's also for PhD students.
So you will continue with all those
Yeah.
facilities, and
Yes. I will-
will you provide any other extra facilities in those things, or
Which type of you want?
I just want to know which type of in your strategy, what type of do you want to
I will
include?
try to collaborate all facilities which we want to be reached to students. Through this. It means it's a one-touch option for every student.
Okay. One more thing I want to know, as you have mentioned regarding resume
Exactly.
building workshops. Yeah.
Yes.
So-
You might be aware.
As far I know कि with the help of placement cells these type of sessions are already already going on during before just third semester or during third semester.
Exactly, that's the issue.
So why do you want this to be conducted in first year?
Semester.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be aware about that. These sessions are conducted already in third semester.
Yeah.
And you might be aware about that. We have to send resume to our institute with a blank page, half blank page. It means upper half part is filled by institute itself. That concludes the academics. What we have to fill in your resume is what you have did regarding curricular activities or co-curricular extra from the academics.
Okay.
For that purpose, you need to be aware 1 year before so that you can do some activities to add that resume. For that purpose, I am just pre-funding that resume building workshop
So you are
so
saying.
that people get enough time to do activities and
Don't you think I just want to know कि हाँ as far as I think कि हाँ students are aware कि हाँ these type of extracurricular activities and all those type of things if it will be included in resume तो they are already familiar with this thing this type of facilities will be included this type of activities will be included in the resume then they will be beneficial so they will do the activity what will
Exactly.
be the impact on the extracurricular activities I didn't get exactly that.
exactly you are saying that then why there is need to be put in third semester?
Because we are mature, as far I think we are mature enough. We have already graduated. We are graduated. So we know कि हाँ extracurricular activities are good for from placement point of view or as from any point of view. So everybody if somebody wants to somebody is oriented towards the placements, so they will do their in the best way they will participate in the extracurricular activities and all this.
But what if they are more aware about that it is necessary and we can do that? Most of the times what happens, you get the idea, most of students, I'm not talking about the exceptional who participated in competitions and events.
Okay, so you are saying कि हाँ at the time of graduation students are not aware about this thing कि students
They are aware about the resume building, then why they need for putting the in third
I'm
semester?
getting but the thing is like as you said through this you want students to be familiar so that they can accordingly do more extracurricular activities.
Exactly, they will do. For sure.
It means they are not having that much knowledge so that the students extracurricular activities
It doesn't mean like that. It doesn't mean like that. They don't have knowledge about that.
But these type of activities will be beneficial. They don't have that type of idea because you are saying कि हाँ through this particular workshop you will be providing them knowledge so that they can accordingly decide कि हाँ which type of activity or what what extracurricular they should do.
But yeah, exactly.
You are
That's the point. I accept that point. But what's the problem with pre-funding? Anyway, we are conducting.
Okay, so for this thing, to whom you contact for this thing, whether you try to contact with, whether you will call any professional or you will contact with the placement cell regarding
First of all, that is already happening. That's why I will talk and I will contact. This also comes under our placement cell.
So you have contacted ki they will be
No, I have not contacted. I clearly tell that I have not contacted, but I will surely contact them and just I will talk about the pre-funding. Rather, if it is conducted in person, it will be parallelly conducted with the UG students, the first year students also.
Okay, so you are saying this for both the UG and PG both.
No, sorry, I by mistake the UG, but it can be put. Anything else? Thank you.
So now questions will be from Rinki to Naveen.
My first question to Naveen is, as you have mentioned regarding the online digital repository. As far as I know, these type of facilities are already there in central library. So why do you want to make this online digital repository? Don't you think it will consume some time and it will be the necessary time wastage?
See, the digital repository, what I am talking about is, it's all the knowledge and information generated by the ITB community has to be put in it. Like I'm just not talking about just the journals or the conference, it's everything, all the information.
As you have explicitly mentioned there, the journals, e-books and these type of things, that's why I was saying.
Yeah, there is other point, presentations and other academic materials also.
Okay. So you will be adding all of them in this.
Yes.
Okay. So, and your yeah, and I was just saying कि हाँ, because as far as I know, journals and the thesis and all these copies are already available in online, available in central library. So the thing is, like, if you will create another online such type of repository, so it will take some time. It will take obviously the gathering of data and all those type will take some time. So why do you exactly want to do this? Want to create this type of repository?
See, when I say this digital repository, it's not just to the PG communities, it's also to the UG as well as for the faculty. And like if I want to know like what sort of book chapter my professor has done that, there's just no point of actually getting access to the book which is generally not accessible. So any information from them, like if I want to view a book chapter of a book, that would be easily available on that repository. Since it will always be in the readable view, I don't think there will be any issue of that.
Okay, so you are saying कि हाँ, you will be like you will be providing chapter wise material there.
Any information generated by the IIT community will be displayed there.
As you mentioned here, regarding the TA-ship after third APS, could you please just elaborate what exactly the flexibility of TA-ship after third year?
See, what the TA-ship from the institute states that you need to work for 8 hours for the institute for the smooth functioning.
Okay.
It never says you that you need to act as an investigator for the exams, nor taking tutorials for the undergrads, nor be a paper corrector for the papers. It just says 8 hours per week for the smooth functioning. So how I would want the students after the third APS, that is they'll be currently in the 4th year. So now it depends, like for electrical engineering the first APS is after second year, but for we have qualifier and then we have this first APS. While for the other departments, the first APS is the same as a qualifier. So my intention behind writing is this: they are given more heavy workload in the 4th APS when they need to just concentrate on the specialized, like they'll be in the verge of actually submitting the pre-synopsis. So I don't want them to be actually working on this paper correction which they have done in the first year or the second year. Like, and also like what I want them to do is, like if you take any labs during the examination hours which need to be kept open till like 4 AM or 5 AM, I want those people to actually sitting down there just monitoring the labs. Or you can take it in the departmental libraries where you just want them to be there and make sure there's no misuse of infrastructure. So like essentially that is more less intellectual work. That is what I want them to do after the third APS.
I just want to say one thing here. As far as I think, after the completion of, like, they will be in the final phase of their thesis work. Because this will be the final 4th year. So I think there should be like some exposure to those people, so that the teaching sessions should be there. These type of things should be there, so that accordingly they can give an idea. Because ultimately either they will go in industries or they will go in I should say for teaching. So for teaching purpose this will be beneficial, and if they will go industry, so the thing is like the lab and the exposure through labs and all those, that will also be beneficial for them too. So
yeah, I would say 2 points on that. Currently, if you're talking of TA-ship, it doesn't count you for your teaching experience. Because when you need for any postdoc or any job, if you are asking experience, you just cannot put on the teaching assistantship. Now, second thing, it's an optional thing. It's not that I'm going to make it compulsory for all the students after that. There are people who are interested in teaching, yes, go ahead and teach it. There are students who don't want to do that because most of the research in no way will be helpful for the TA-ship. The TA-ship will be completely taken interdisciplinary. People will be in energy science and they'll be doing their PhD in electrical. So giving them TA-ship in mass transfer or fluid mechanics is just not going to serve the purpose.
the what I think ki instead of doing that type of thing, because students will be mature enough so that they can teach the undergraduate students or whatever the PG students. Instead of this, they should be provide some sort of like this such type of facility, so that they will provide some sort of lectures and those type of things, because which will ultimately help to those students.
Yeah, that
I
happens.
think instead of the, providing flexibility in TA-ship.
Yeah, that only happens when your TA-ship is in tune with your research.
Okay.
But most often you are doing in like coding work, and you will be sitting in the, you have to take teachings in the machines lab, which in no way is going to help you. And moreover, since it is off your aligned path, I don't think people will be able to give the full knowledge dedicated to that.
Okay. So for those things, I think
And moreover, the students after third EPS will be very less. Like it would be a 2-digit number.
Don't you think preferential TA-ship should be the correct procedure for those for that particular thing, like the students, so that accordingly the students will get those type of duties whichever they want according to their interest.
See, preferential allotment is only applicable currently for like 3-4 departments. Other departments, like the faculty chooses, he just throws a dice, he gives the student his TA-ship.
Okay, my next question is, as you have mentioned there, that the 24/7 accessibility of central library. So the thing is like, what is exactly your strategy regarding this thing, and what do you think? What was the issues in the previous time regarding this? Like what was the issues because of this those things that they were not able to execute those particular?
Quickly answer it. Time is up.
Okay, 2 points, okay? First thing is, in order for the central library to be working during the night hours, you need 5 to 6 staff, and they need to be paid extra. Second point, what I will be doing that, this comes under in tune with this flexible teaching assistantship, wherein the only 2 project staffs can be there, and remaining 4 or 5 people can be done as part of the teaching assistantship. And I really don't say like why a PhD student don't just want to sit in central library, do his work, and also in the process acting as a teaching assistant.
Okay, fine. So